I'm the best.
As always, a great pleasure watching you work.
Well, it looks like the rumor mill was correct once again. Anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very exciting Marvel Games related video, where earlier today, seemingly out of nowhere, Marvel Games decided to officially announce one of their next major AAA projects that is currently in development. And if you're someone who has been keeping up with all my videos on the channel or has seen any of the recent news surrounding this topic, the official announcement for this game may not be all that of a surprise. Especially considering that this game in particular was already previously leaked by a couple of well-known industry insiders. But seeing that we now have official confirmation of this game's existence from Marvel Games themselves, as well as knowing exactly who the developer is behind it, I for one have genuinely become way more excited to see exactly what this game is all about. And even though we only have one official teaser image to go off of for this game, there is actually quite a lot of interviews that do gain a lot of insight from some of the game's main developers and studio heads. So we're gonna go over all the extremely important points from each of the individual press releases pertaining to this game. And in case you couldn't tell already, this game is none other than a fully AAA single-player action-adventure Iron Man game developed by none other than Motive Studios. And as it was previously leaked, it is in fact being published by Electronic Arts. Now, for any of you unaware, Motive Studios is actually the main developer responsible for Star Wars Squadrons, as well as the upcoming Dead Space remake. So for anyone out there who might be worried due to the fact that EA are the ones publishing this game instead of another company like Sony or even Square Enix, the main thing that you should keep in mind is that Motive are the core developers responsible for this project, and that this is going to be their overall vision for the game and what the story of the title is going to fully include. And given everything that Motive went on to discuss for this game, I for one am extremely confident to see exactly what they have cooking up. So as their first major press release states, the news is out. We couldn't be more thrilled to collaborate with Marvel Games on an all-new single-player action-adventure Iron Man game. While we're still in early development, this is an exciting new adventure for our studio. And coming directly from the article that they left a link to, it's time to suit up. Marvel Games is teaming up with Motive Studio to collaborate on an all-new single-player third-person action-adventure Iron Man video game. Now in early development, the game will feature an original narrative that taps into the rich history of Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark, and enabling players to feel what it's like to truly play as Iron Man. And I highly apologize in advance if I'm butchering any of these names, but the Motive Studio team is led by Olivier Proux, who brings experience working on past Marvel titles like Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, or better known as my personal game of the year of 2021, and is without a doubt a Marvel game that I highly recommend that you play if you haven't already. He is joined by a dedicated team of passionate industry veterans, including Ian Fraser, Maylene Luminau, and JF Poirier at the Montreal-based studio. We are thrilled to collaborate with the talented team at Motive Studio to bring their original vision of one of Marvel's most important, powerful, and beloved characters, said by the main man himself, Bill Roseman, who is the vice president and creative director at Marvel Games. Their experience delivering both established entertainment worlds and thrilling gameplay, combined with their authentic passion for the armored icon, will fuel our quest to deliver a love letter to a legendary hero in the form of the Ultimate Iron Man video game. It's an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to make a video game based on one of the most iconic superheroes in entertainment today, said by Olivier Proux, executive producer. We have a great opportunity to create a new and unique story that we can call our own. Marvel is encouraging us to create something fresh. We have a lot of freedom, which is so engaging for the team. The game is currently in the pre-production phase, with more updates to follow as it gets further along in development. And the most important statement within this article is that this marks an exciting new collaboration between Marvel and Electronic Arts, with Iron Man being the first of several new games. And if you've been keeping up with any of the updates surrounding these EA and Marvel game leaks, one of the other massive AAA titles that has been heavily rumored to be in development development is none other than a AAA standalone Black Panther game. But obviously, the main game that everyone wants to see Marvel and EA do above all else is none other than the one and only Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects. I mean, come on, my guy, we need a sequel to that game ASAP.
You know what we call that? We call that a web-slinging ass-kicking.
But no, in all seriousness, this is actually a very exciting announcement, especially knowing that there are even more Marvel games that are scheduled to be made in the future within the EA production pipeline. And considering all the passion that Motive seems to honestly have and feel for a character like Iron Man, makes me feel a lot more relieved to see exactly what this game is going to actually include. And as a bit of a side note, this honestly makes the Disney and Marvel game showcase 1,000 times more disappointing. Not only did we not receive any major trailer or gameplay details pertaining to Marvel's Spider-Man 2 or Marvel's Wolverine, but Marvel and EA could have easily included this announcement as a surprise tease at the very end of that presentation, but for some reason decided not to. And if Marvel and Disney are planning to make another games presentation like that for next year, I sincerely hope that they learn from all their mistakes. Now, following this primary press release coming directly from Motive Studios and Marvel Games themselves, Motive Studios went on to tweet about another article, which is actually an interview with the studio's general manager of Patrick Klaus. So as Patrick goes on to say within this article, at Motive, we love telling stories. We love stories that take you on a journey, that entertain you, but also surprise you. We love stories that make you think, that are inclusive and universal, and that ignite your imagination and evoke various emotions. It's one of the reasons we enjoyed working on Star Wars titles and now the Dead Space remake, because they're iconic brands with fascinating lore. Now, we have the honor and privilege to unleash our creativity with the new Iron Man game we're developing in collaboration with Marvel Games. It's really important to me as the general manager for Motive to make games that my team will be passionate about. That fire in the belly can translate into something amazing. Now we have the unique opportunity to bring that passion to a fan-favorite Marvel superhero, Iron Man. It's exciting, and it's a little daunting. Our team loves Marvel, and we know expectations are high, but we're going all in to do the best work of our careers and make a great single-player action-adventure Iron Man game. What's especially exciting is that with this project, we have the opportunity to create a new and unique story. We are very much in the early stages and expect a big game like this to take years to create. Our goal in announcing the game early is to invite developers who are just as passionate about Marvel as we are to consider joining Motive. It's also because we will want to engage with the community of players in due course. Stay tuned. So right off the bat, it definitely seems like that they are in extremely early stages of development for this Iron Man game, and we will likely not even see a release date for this game in a couple years. If anything, I think one of the reasons why they decided to announce this game so early is because it has been previously leaked by several industry insiders. So officially revealing this game now before any other details about it leak is actually a pretty smart move on Motive and Marvel's part. And the other detail that we can take away from this is that they do not specifically indicate the main phrase of an open world game, but still emphasize its single-player and action-adventure nature, as well as it being third-person. So for now, this game might end up being similar to what we saw with Marvel's Avengers or Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, where it is a primarily level-based linear structured game instead of a fully open-world action-adventure game like what we saw with both of Insomniac's Spider-Man titles. But regardless, it's way too early to tell all those intricate details as of right now since of how early the game is in development. So we will just have to wait a bit longer on that front. And the last thing to go over on this checklist, everybody, is actually a very in-depth and extremely passionate interview coming directly from GamesIndustry.biz, which does gain even more insight about this game from none other than Bill Roseman himself. Where the most important points that I do want to highlight from Bill is where he goes on to say, the world is, amazingly, very familiar and accepting of the multiverse. We have all these different realities. Now they're all real, and we want to give everyone the freedom to tell their story. We don't want to say you can't blow up the moon, because this game over here by another studio needs the moon. We want to give everyone the freedom and the clear lane to tell their story. Which is essentially Bill's fancy way of saying that the Iron Man game is not connected to any of the other Marvel games that have already released, and instead is its own individual universe. Every decision that the Motive team are making about their Marvel universe, their Tony Stark, their Iron Man, they're building it from the ground up. But it is being built with what we call Marvel building blocks. When you play the game, it may not be the Iron Man story that you've experienced before, but there will be many similar things. What would you expect in a Marvel story? There are things, there are institutions, certain companies, groups. I don't want to say what is and isn't in this game, but for example, there is S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, there's the Daily Bugle, and there are these different countries that exist. These are building blocks that make the Marvel universe. They make it feel like a real Marvel story. Now with that, Motive is going to tell its story, and we will give them that freedom. I keep saying this word freedom. Every decision within Marvel is given the freedom to create and do what they do best. So this is an opportunity to tell the best Iron Man story. We may be compared to everything, or we might not. It doesn't matter. What is important to us is that when people play this game, we want them to say that this is a love letter to this character. We want them to say that it is exactly what they want, and it surprised them. We talk about power and responsibility. Our power, Marvel and Motive, is that we get to create a AAA Iron Man game. The responsibility is to make it awesome. That's our mission. It's on our shoulders and we think it's great. The world is a very challenging place, and we are lucky enough to create things that bring people together and bring people joy. That's what we're going to do. And overall, everybody, I just have to give a massive round of applause to everyone at Marvel Games and Motive Studios for taking care of Iron Man in such an extremely passionate way that is felt within every single word of their press releases. While we may have definitely been burned before by EA and even previous Marvel games like Marvel's Avengers, I definitely think that both Marvel Games and Electronic Arts have learned from their mistakes and are going to put their best foot forward when it comes to delivering the most definitive Iron Man experience that we could possibly hope for. Especially if you look at what EA and Marvel Games have recently done with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order as well as Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And having that single-player action-adventure mindset be the forefront of everything that this Iron Man game is going to embody already gives me an immense amount of confidence in this project. And I for one just can't wait to see what this experience actually looks like by the time we see gameplay of it. But with all that said, everybody, that's the massive video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think of this Iron Man game coming from Motive Studios and Marvel Games? And considering the fact that Iron Man was already a fully playable character within Marvel's Avengers, what would you like to see Motive Studios do differently when it comes to handling Iron Man's gameplay mechanics? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel Games videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and without further ado, peace out.